on a trip. We had an incident that occurred with our slide out. It failed on us, and this tutorial is to help people to understand what exactly happened and how to recover from it and do a workaround. We came in to put our slide out, and when we pushed the out button, all we got was a clicking noise, and the slide out only moved about 2 or 3 inches. And then we couldn't get it to come back in. We couldn't get it to go back out. It just sat there clickety, clickety, clicking. So we opened up the bed. The slide mechanism is underneath the bed, and we lifted off the cover, and we were able to see down into the motor. As you can see, the motor was broken completely off the housing and was just laying on the floor of the coach. You can see the gearing and the aluminum housing where it's snapped off. This motor is no longer functional at all. Broken off. The motor is also the braking unit, which brakes and holds the slide out in place so that it doesn't slide open while you're driving or just slide completely out of the coach. So with this out, there needs to be a block put into place, which I cut 2 2x4s that were the exact size. I jammed them against the bed frame and the slide out to keep it from sliding out while we were driving. That's probably the most important part in this video, is so that you can continue on your trip without having the slide out go flying out of your coach. And this way I can continue my trip and continue driving or taking the coach in to have it repaired. In my case, I'm ordering the part from a vendor and having it shipped because it's just a few bolts to hold it into place. But as you can see, this motor is pretty well. The housing is completely broken, and like I said, the motor was just laying in the bottom of the slide out and just clicking on the gears were spinning against each other. So when the new unit comes, it'll have a new transmission on it. It'll just plug in. It should bolt in. There's 4 anchoring bolts to hold the motor and 2 bolts to hold it onto the drive shaft of the slide out. And at that point, it should be working. These are the numbers, the part numbers. There were 2 sets of numbers on this particular unit. One of them was, as you can see on the back side, this came from the company called Power Gear, the manufacturer. Okay, what we did in here is this motor was replaced. This is the new motor here and the housing. There were 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 that held the motor on. We removed the bolts here, and there's a keyway that's attached in this thing, and that keyway has to be aligned so that the parts will go back. In the back is a bolt, and we undid the bolt so that the keyway could slide forward in order to take this free, and then we just lifted it out. We put the new system in, bolted the 4 bolts up. We spliced in our plug because the wires were just, that was all that came with it. We spliced in our new plug so that it would work, bolted it all in, hooked it all up, turned it on, and away it went. It works perfectly now. It slides in and out, no issues, no problems. Everything is good on it. One of the most important aspects of this was using the 2x4s. I put 2 of them in, even though 1 would have worked, and blocking the slide out so that it would not open up on the road while we were driving. That was one of the most important aspects. And when the slide out is all the way in, it comes all the way up against the cabinets, and I'm able to put a 2x4 against the bed frame and against this slide out, and it prevented it from opening up. So that way we didn't have an accidental opening on the highway sometime. So that's one of the most important aspects. And I measured it out and cut these and put them in to stop that from happening. I was able to pick up the 2x3s at a Home Depot in the small town where we were at. We ordered the motor online from a company called eTrailer, and they were able to ship it out to me on an overnight shipping, and I had it in 2 days, and it fit perfectly. Once we got the model number off the old motor and I gave it to them, they said there was a replacement motor, which was this one here, and it's an identical duplicate. So as you can see, once again, it looks exactly like the other motor in all aspects. Okay, just to recap things, we were on our trip and we went to put the slide out in the out position, and it began clicking and popping, and it would only move a few inches and then it would not come back. When we went to investigate, we found that the motor housing had broken, allowing the motor to completely fall free of the transmission, the small gray silver colored transmission block, and it was just laying on the floor doing nothing. So we were able to get the motor out very easily by just unplugging it and lifting it out. The most important part, I think, of this whole thing was how to block the slide out from coming open when we were on the road driving. And I got some help. I cut some 2x4s the right length, blocked them in between the bed frame and the slide out so that it wouldn't move, held it in the closed position, and we were able to get here. I ordered the part, like I said, through a company called eTrailer. It was about $780 for the part, and then $80 shipping overnight so that I could get the part so we could continue our trip. And then the cost of the 2x4 was about $2. They cut it for me to size, and I put it in, and we were able to then later disassemble everything and put it together, and all worked fine. If you liked what I have to tell you for emergency purposes, please subscribe to my channel and like my video, because it goes a long way. Thank you very much, and I hope this is helpful.